us by visiting localtel.com.
Back at it, television family. Good to see you again. It's good to be back. 11th day of September, 2023. It is a Monday. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I was out, unexpectedly out, last week. Full disclosure, I got COVID. Last one in the building to get it. Last one in the broadcast metroplex anyway. I thought I wasn't going to get it. I was hubris, I will admit it. Everybody else at one time or another had COVID at least once. A couple of our colleagues in our work family got it more than once. I didn't get it at all. I did all the protocols, got the shot, got the boosters, masked up, did everything that you're supposed to do, and it still got me. Wasn't feeling too good on the Friday going into Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend, kind of a hit and miss thing, and I thought, man, I better get this thing checked out. And on Tuesday, when I was supposed to be back of last week, I tested positive. But I'm through all of that stuff. I feel a lot better. I'm not 100%, but I do feel a lot better than I did most of last week. It kicked me in the butt. So I thought I was going to avoid it. I really did. I did not. But I'm back, not totally in the paint, but feeling pretty good. And thanks for everybody who reached out when I got sick, but I'm back. 70 very warm degrees under cloudy skies. We're going to have a weak system that's going to come through today and tomorrow. We're still going to be very mild, well above normal temperatures. Our normal high is 79. We hit 89 yesterday. And then very warm and pleasant weather for the last 10 days of summer. This is it. The summer solstice is on September 22nd, so we're 10 full days and a half day left in summer 2023, but it's going to be a very summer-like forecast. We're going to give you all those details, plus the news. Busy weekend in sports. If you're a fan of Seattle professional sports, it was a pretty bad weekend for the Mariners and the Seahawks especially. But for college football fans, way to go Cougars, way to go Huskies. Wildcats won, Panthers won, all kinds of highlights in sports to touch on. Plus we'll do everything else that you're used to. And in the back half of the program, we had a chance, of course, not long ago to visit April Turner from the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center out there in Ephrata. We only aired that interview once, and that was quite some time ago, and we'd like the work that they do, and we're going to give April a little extra love. We're going to play that interview for you in the back half of the program. It is 3 minutes after the hour. Let's go. We always begin with our cameras around the valley. This morning we have to guess because we were so pressed for time. I didn't get a chance to go through the cameras with my buddy Uriah, but obviously we begin with the Wenatchee Heights camera looking over the valley, and you can see the haze. It's kind of cloudy. We had a beautiful sunrise this morning, just gorgeous at 6:33. But days are getting pretty short. We're about, 12 hours and 12 minutes of daylight for the next few days, and then we'll be right at that 12-hour up and down, right around the summer solstice. Good morning to the valley with East Wenatchee getting most of the love this morning. Camera 2. It is a slow dissolve to, it's a quick shot to the number 1 canyon camera. Here's a good idea of the clouds, and what you see right now is pretty much what we're going to have all day. You saw some of the clouds roll in yesterday, but they came in from the south, ushered in some fairly mild air. 89. That's pretty warm for this time of the year. That's what we got on Sunday. Saturday was beautiful. We're in, for the most part, for a nice stretch of weather for really right through the next 10 or 11 days. So they tell us. Again, those details are coming up from high atop number 1 canyon. That little strip of roadway you see in the lower left-hand corner of your screen is 5th Street. Camera number 3. Whoa, don't know what to say there. I want to say Blag Mountain. Oh, that's Cole's Corner. That's up the Lake Wenatchee area. My bad. I've been a little out of it, folks. I didn't really do much, obviously, when I laid up for COVID. So bear with me. I'm still getting my bearings straight, if you will. Good morning to the Lake Wenatchee area. Still got some smoldering fires up there, I suppose. And camera 4. Well, that's obvious. That's Billy Goat. Doesn't look like they have as many clouds up there, Billy Goat Way, as they do down here. Good morning to Omak, Okanagan. There's a bug. Get the bug. Get it. Got it. Killed it. Maybe, oh, no, I didn't. There's more than one bug. Apparently they like that camera lens, and that's way up there, folks. That's over a mile above sea level. Alta Lake in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as we say good morning to our friends to the north of us from a Billy Goat camera. Okay, a couple of items to show for you from the National Weather Service. Going to be a little on the windy side on Tuesday for the places that are prone for wind. The Wenatchee Valley, the Waterford Plateau, and down in the Vantage area. Most of the wind will be in the early evening hours from about 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It will be windy with gusts about 20 to 35 miles an hour as this system slides in. It's going to slide in and slide out. It ain't going to last very long. The wind will start picking up in intensity about noon. It'll be breezy in the afternoon hours with gusts about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Then it gets windy from about 5 to about 10, and then it dies down rather dramatically, and by the time you wake up on Wednesday morning, it'll all be gone. And it's not going to take very long. It's going to come in, it's going to come out, but it is going to pay us a visit on Tuesday afternoon. So for about a 9-10 hour period there, look for some pretty gusty winds for the Wenatchee Valley, the Waterford Plateau, for you folks down in the Vantage area, and a little bit out in the Columbia Basin. Yesterday, the Climate Prediction Center spit out their 6 to 10 day extended forecast. As you see there, this is for next week, for the last week of summer, actually. Above normal temperatures, below normal precipitation. And we need precipitation. We know that. We did have some rain events, a couple of them, a few weeks back, but it wasn't enough to get us where we should be this time of the year. So get ready for sunny and dry and above normal temperatures right through the forecast period, which is essentially this week and all of next week, although what you see there reflects what they think is going to happen next week from the Climate Prediction Center. There you go. Looks like it's going to be really nice, although we do need the rain. From the National Weather Service, here we go. 82 today. It's going to be cooler because we're not going to have a great deal of sunshine. Little windy at times today, but not as windy as it's going to be tomorrow. 58 for the overnight low on Monday. Tuesday, we'll see a few sun breaks. This system comes in Tuesday mid-morning. It'll be pretty active by Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday evening, as you already saw, quite windy with a high of 81, which is just a couple of degrees above normal. Again, our normal high this time of the year is about 78. Sunny and breezy, but not too windy on Wednesday. By Wednesday afternoon, the wind will all be gone. Nice warming trend. Boy, it's going to be a beautiful night. Friday night at Leib-Off to Field at the Apple Bowl for the Wildcats and the Panthers and the traditional rivalry. Just gorgeous, beautiful. Sunshine close to 90, and it's going to be warm. In fact, downright hot for mid to late September. By the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, and as you already saw, it's going to be sunny and warm all of next week as well. All right, that's your forecast. Going to take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have your news. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
We're turning up the heat with the hottest deals of the year. Right now, during the hot summer clearance sale, only at Click It RV. #1 in sales and service. The best RV brands. Over 1,000 to choose from. And the best deals of the year on remaining 2023 model year-end clearance with incredible 30% off. Brand new RVs discounted up to 30%. Save thousands. Plus, no payments until 2024. During the hot summer clearance sale. Now, only at Click It RV. 5 superstore locations. Hurry in today.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Quite a bit of cloud cover, but quite mild It is 70 degrees in downtown Wenatchee. Clouds all day today, a little bit of wind, slightly cooler than yesterday. We'll be in the lower 80s. More sunshine, but more wind on Tuesday. Lots of sunshine starting Wednesday, and unseasonably warm temperatures. By the time we get to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it's 10 minutes after the hour. This story seems to pop up every year. Just about this time, the Grant County Health District has issued a water quality warning for the folks living in and around the Moses Lake area. It's back. Blue algae may be blooming in nearly every advisory zone. The Health District launched a new monitoring system for blue algae earlier in the summer, so they divide Moses Lake into 6 sections. And currently, North Moses Lake, Middle Moses Lake, Lewis Horn, Parker Horn, and South Moses Lake are all affected in this blue algae advisory. The Health District plans to take samples from each affected section during this week. They say the results will be posted on their website and on their Facebook page once they have those results. For now, warning signs are up, and they're going to remain up for a couple of weeks as the sampling continues. Of course, right now, the toxin levels are below the recreational guidelines, and the Health District reminds folks to be cautious about the lake and keep pets out of the water. Congresswoman Kim Schreier spent her weekend, at least Saturday anyway, in Manson to celebrate the end of India's 20% tariff on American apple exports. Back in June, it was announced that the tariffs would be lifted after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the U.S. The apple export market from Washington State to India plummeted when those tariffs were put into place, from $120 million in 2017 to less than $1 million this season. Schreier, along with U.S. Senators Maria Cantwell and Patty Murray, has long worked towards the removal of the tariffs. It got done. Schreier was at former Chelan County Commissioner Doug England's orchard and was joined by Chelan Douglas Farm Bureau President Vicki Malloy, and highlighting the impact this change will have on Washington fruit growers. Good fans for folks who wanted that second flight in and out of Pangbourne. It's back, and they celebrated on Tuesday. The 6 a.m. departure flight has returned to Pangbourne. They brought in Bomber's Coffee to make the morning a little more special for those on what the airport calls its a much-needed addition. I know a lot of people use that first plane out of the valley. I'm among them. It started last Thursday. Alaska Airlines flights from Pangbourne to Seattle are offered at 6 a.m. and 1:45 p.m. Return flights from Seattle to Pangbourne at 12:08 in the afternoon and then at 10:55 in the evening. The additional flights were announced earlier this year, and now they are here. Confluence Health is bringing in a new vice president of philanthropy. Her name is Suzanne Carte-Cockcroft. She will join the Confluence Health Foundation after 25 years working in nonprofit organizations in Alaska, most recently as the foundation president and region chief of philanthropy officer for the Providence, Alaska Foundation, which is based in Anchorage. The title of the position is new, but the role has previously been held by the foundation's executive trustee. Carte-Cockcroft will lead the foundation, which has its main focus on the Confluence Health philanthropic efforts. She's going to replace the executive trustee of the foundation, Abel Noah. Abel Noah will be retiring in January of next year. There is a racing league for pigeons. Well, they're fast, after all. It's a bit surprising, but even more surprising is just how high stakes and high cost the sport of pigeon racing truly is. The staff at NCW Life met with Wenatchee pigeon racer and American Racing Pigeon Union board member Jeff Life to hear more about what goes on into this rather unique hobby.
My name is Jeff Life. I have been involved in the pigeon racing sport for quite a few years, and I race them competitively. I'm part of the national organization. I'm a board member on the American Racing Pigeon Union. The sport, it's moved a long ways over the time frame I've been doing it. It used to be all manual clocks. Nowadays it's all electronic. How we get our birds is a lot of them we breed ourselves, and we breed them from birds that we've probably purchased from other people around the world, possibly. I can get a pigeon that bred in Belgium or Holland is where almost all the famous pigeon racers are, and that's where all of the big names come. So if you have someone flying in Japan and he comes and looks at my birds, we can talk about each other's pedigrees because they're all from Holland and Belgium. But we'll purchase those breeders, and we can mail them through the mail, the USPS. I can mail a pigeon to anybody in the country. It'll be there in 2 days. And I start training them. The first training toss, I put them in the crates. I turn them loose in the driveway just so they get used to not being in a panic. because if they come out of that box and they're scared and crazy and who knows what they'll do. My next toss will maybe be only a couple 100 yards. The next one will be half a mile, and then I'll do another one at about a mile, and then I jump across the river up on Wenatchee Heights and Mission Ridge. Then we start training them at 50 miles and then 90 miles, and then you start the first race at 100, but we don't stop at 300 miles. We keep going out to 400, 500, 600, 700 miles we will race from. There's his band that went on when he was probably a week old. And this band here is his race band. And there's a bump on one side of it there that you can see that big bump, and that's where the actual chip is that clocks him when he gets home. And it's a read-write chip, so I can change that and put it on a different bird if I want to. How we figure our races is it's yards per minute. So I fly from this location. I have a GPS, very accurate measurement down to like a yard, my landing board. So my distance when it shows up on a race sheet shows that distance. Now if somebody that lives 5 miles further away from the race point than I do, he has his own birds, he has his own antenna, he has his own clock, and he has his own distance. And how we determine who wins is yards per minute. When we race, we get together on a short race the day before. We all come to my house, and we all individually scan every one of those birds into the clocking system, so we know what bird went into the race. And then they drive all night to wherever they're going to be released the next morning on a truck. So when we're flying the 500, 600, 700 mile races, they're 2 days in transport to get there. But the award system for us, it's a piece of paper, and years ago we used to give trophies, but then everybody figured out you got all these trophies that you don't, your wife doesn't want. It's all in the payout. And how many birds are in the race. A friend of mine in Yakima down in Moxie has a race, and he started with 3,000 pigeons in his loft. So he can have $1 million payout. You get out of it exactly what you put into it. If you want to do it halfway, that's where you're going to be in the race sheet, halfway up, because you just can't dominate if you aren't fully committed to doing it.
And that is the news on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Now that I'm back, we're kind of back to full strength. By the way, thanks to Eric and Grant for filling in for me unexpectedly last week. And the news will come your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on TV, 5, 6, and 10. Also available for you to watch via the World Wide Web. So if that doesn't work into your television watching experience, I'm doing the clicker thing for whatever reason. If you can't watch it on TV at 5, 6, and 10, you can watch it online on our Facebook page, on our homepage, and on our YouTube page. We'll have the news up and running right around 5 o'clock every weekday evening. And if there's something out there that you think we need to know about, let us know about it. Use the Messenger app on Facebook, or you can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. Mariner fans and Seahawk fans, it was a pretty tough weekend. Husky and Cougar fans had a good weekend and lots of prep to talk about, too. Sports in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Friday, September 29th. Check out the Reckless Ones coming up from Los Angeles.
Minutes after the hour, the Mariners limp home after going 3-7 on their 10-game road trip, and they lost the series finale 6-3 yesterday to Tampa Bay. Seattle fell behind 5-0 to the Rays before finally getting off the sky in the third. Bryce Miller took the loss, but manager Scott Servais says it was a great learning day for the young pitcher.
Big growth moment for him. I thought, early in the game, certainly in the first inning, they were on him, even a couple quick runs in the third, and then, he did exactly what he needed to do. He flipped the script, he shut him down. I think he got the last 9 hitters out and gave us a chance. And also, when you're starting pitcher, you're pitching, once every 5-6 days, you got to go out there and give your team, give the length and get through the 5th inning, which is a really good job by him. So, again, rough trip. Hope to, anytime you go on the road, you're hoping to, split, go 500 or better. Didn't happen. We go back home. I think you got 2 big homestands ahead of us, so it'll be good to get home. And it's been a long trip, long flight tonight, but we'll get after it tomorrow against the Angels. I like where we're at. Okay, we got 19 games to go. We're in a good spot. We're a little tired. It's the end of a trip. It happens, and we just played one of the best teams in the American League. 4 very competitive games. They outplayed us. I'm hoping we come back here again before the season's over.
Julio Rodriguez and Sam Haggerty each had a couple of hits in the loss. Of course, Seattle, even though they played 10 games in 10 days, play again today. Angels in town for the first of 3 games at T-Mobile Park, 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports Northwest. The Mariners left Seattle on the 10-day road trip in first place in the American League West. They now are in second place, 2.5 games behind the Astros. Houston continues its offense at a blistering pace. They're beating everybody up big time. They beat San Diego yesterday 12-2, wasn't even that close. Texas took care of Oakland 9-4. So the Angels come into Seattle after downing Cleveland yesterday. The final there was 2-1. Wild card standings. The Mariners have fallen now into the final wild card playoff spot. They're just a half game in front of the Rangers. Toronto beat Kansas City 5-2, so they jump a game in front of Seattle for the second playoff spot. And the Yankees edged Milwaukee in 13 innings, but they still remain 8 games out. LA outscored Seattle 23-zip in the second half, beat the Seahawks 30-13 Sunday at Lumen Field. Seattle managed just 3 yards of total offense in the second half. Geno Smith finished with 112 yards passing and a touchdown to DK Metcalf. For the game, the Rams outgained Seattle 426-180. Ouch. Seattle heads to Detroit Sunday morning. They'll take on the Lions 10 a.m. on Fox. Great weekend to be a Husky or a Cougar. Michael Penix Jr. throwing for 409 yards and 3 touchdowns. Number 8 Washington beats Tulsa 43-10. Coach Kalen DeBoer says they're pleased to be 2-0.
Michael played a great game, getting things set and understanding what he's seeing, delivering the football. Super proud of the way he played. Protected him well, gave him a lot of time to see down the field. I thought the defense came out of each half and really did a nice job, challenged them in the third quarter in particular, and wanted them to see them come out of the locker room, and they did a nice job there. So the energy was good, and got a lot of guys out there to play, rotated a lot of guys in. Every rep, every opportunity is one where we can get better individually and as a team.
And on the other side of the state, Cameron Ward passed for 212 yards and a couple of touchdowns, ran for 43 yards. And the Cougars upset number 19 Wisconsin. That was a nice game to watch, 31-22. Badgers fought back. They got within 2 in the second half, and then the Cougars responded. Coach Jake Dickert says it was a gutty win.
That was the prettiest, ugliest win ever, and I'm really proud of our guys because there was a point where it wasn't looking good. Right, and they had us on our heels, and they kept attacking, and the defense was out there. We couldn't move the ball. There was no quit. There was no doubt. There was no fear. It was just keep attacking, and I'm just so proud of our team. This is a player's game, guys. Our players went out there and made plays when they had to. So proud of Cam Ward, defensive staff. To get a touchdown and to really hold them when they're on the heels and clutch moments in the red zone was huge.
And Eastern Washington, in overtime, was stopped on their second possession. Fresno State kicking a 25-yard field goal to win it, the final 34-31. And Blake Freeland threw 5 touchdown passes to lead Montana Tech over Central Washington 37-29. Panthers and Wildcats both victorious in high school football Over the weekend, the Panthers beating Mount Baker on Friday afternoon to leave off the field at the Apple Bowl, 29-14. They're 1-1 on the year. Also on Friday, it was Davis over Ellensburg, Cedro-Woolley over Ike, and Sunnyside toppled Post Falls. And then on Saturday, West Valley beats Federal Way 21-14. Eastmont wins on the road at Timberline 21-14. Gunnar Peterson setting the all-time Eastmont rushing mark with 169 yards and 25 carries and a touchdown. Luke Gale tossed 2 touchdowns in the win. So here we go. The first league game of the year is the Bridge of Sportsmanship game. 56 meeting between the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats. Leave off the field of the Apple Bowl. We'll have it for you live right here. Eric Granstrom and Grant Olson with the call. Pre-game at 6:30. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. And other scores from over the weekend. Sophomore Ryland Hatmaker threw 3 touchdown passes in Cashmere's easy victory over Deer Park, 35-13. LaSalle edged Omak 28-21. Chelan scored the game-winning touchdown with 3 minutes left, knocking off Meridian 21-20. Ephrata won the Battle of the Basin over Quincy 35-12, and Tenasket topped Cascade 28-14. Smaller schools. Waterville Mansfield improves to 2-0 with a 53-14 win over Selkirk. Okanagan stopped Sela 49-7. Lake Roosevelt rolled Highland 56-24. Libertyville edged Brewster 46-41. Elmira Cooley Heartline took care of Antioch 50-21, and Bridgeport shutting out Oakville on Saturday 52-0. Girls soccer. Eastmont and Wenatchee earns their first soccer wins of the season. Wildcats won at Central Valley 4-1. The Panthers defended their home turf over Ingram 4-1. Other scores: Meade shut out Moses Lake 4-0. Quincy blasted Mapton 10-0. Ephrata throttled Royal 9-1. Omak blanked Lake Roosevelt 6-0. Bear Creek down Chelan, and Cashmere and LaSalle got canceled. Why, I don't know. We'll be broadcasting Wenatchee Eastmont's girls soccer game from Leib-Off Field at the Apple Bowl Wednesday night. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wiesen with the call just before 7 o'clock here on the NCAA Life Channel. And we're going to be busy tomorrow night. We're going to be at the Wenatchee High School Gymnasium. The Panthers and the Wildcats will play in volleyball. Eric will be courtside with your play-by-play. That'll be tomorrow at 7 p.m. And can't forget about the Wenatchee Wild. They went 1-1 over the weekend in exhibition play. They lost to the Tri-City Americans at home on Saturday. Then they went to Everett and topped the Silvertips 4-3 in overtime. Zach Benson had a hat trick, including the game winner in the extra session. Wenatchee is in Kennewick Friday. It's a traditional tournament to take on Spokane at 3:05 in their first regular season game, September 22nd. All right, race fans at the Super Oval were treated to fireworks after racing Saturday night. There's also fireworks during racing. Chad Holliday won the Rockstar Energy B-Mod main event over Glenn Knutson and Tucker Moore. Sumner's Steve Woods took the checkered flag in the Northwest Vintage Modifieds main event. Rick Villiard was second, followed by Vince Conwell. The Plum Perfect Roadrunner main event went to Clay Ellam's Tammy Aper. Jason Walker was second, followed by Matt Snyder. And Maryville's Preston Brandt won the main event for the Zero Handicap Youth Roadrunners. Wenatchee's Tommy Craig was second, Tyler Steinberg third. And they'll be celebrating the season finale this weekend with 2 days of racing. Friday features the Jerry Burschauer 125 as for the Pro Late Models. Saturday is the Neil Newberry 125 as for the Super Late Models. This is it. If you haven't been to their track, you only got one more weekend. This weekend, go to WVSO.com for tickets and all the details. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 28 minutes after the hour for the Obscura holiday today, one I try to celebrate every day. They say it's good for you. It's National Make Your Bed Day today. They say it's a good idea to make your bed every day, especially when you get up. It sets your brain into an organizational task setting mode. If you get up and the first thing you do is make your bed, first of all, you don't have to worry about making it before you go to bed. That's one chore you got done, and your brain kicks in that, okay, what next do I need to do? Now, most people have I'm among them. Your morning schedule, at least Monday through Friday, is very regimented down to the minute. When you get up at the hour that Uriah and I do, you have to have a regimented morning or it isn't going to be happening. Also helps reduce stress. One less thing you need to worry about before you go to bed. It also helps sleep hygiene. And it helps you when time to go to bed. When you go into your bedroom, it is made and it tells your brain it is time now to be unconscious for a while. I know a lot of people who never make their bed until after they wash their sheets and blankets because they don't have any choice but to make the bed. They don't just throw it on there. So if you want to get in a good habit, today is the first day to start National Make Your Bed Day today. And believe it or not, I try, not always, but especially Saturdays and Sundays, I sleep in a little bit and I just roll out of bed and don't worry about making it. But in the wintertime, I make my bed every day because I got extra comforters and blankets and stuff like that. So get yourself in the habit. National Make Your Bed Day today. And it also makes your bedroom look more tidy. Just in case you have a drop-in visitor and they pop into the bedroom, and you don't want your bedroom looking like a mess. National Make Your Bed Day today, because I saw it on the internet. Today in history, I got to bring it up on my computer. Our printer wasn't working this morning, so everything's right here. On this date in 1609, Henry Hudson takes a right, goes into the lower New York Bay and says, what do we have here? A beautiful natural port, safe from the ebbs and flows of the Atlantic Ocean, safe from the winds. This is a pretty cool spot. Let's check it out. Henry Hudson and his crew arrive to find Manhattan Island. And they meet, of course, the natives who were living there. They got along just fine. They sailed up what is now known as the Hudson River for a few days. They were looking for the Northwest Passage to the Orient. They never did find it because there isn't one. But they hung around. This is in 1609, and eventually Henry Hudson worked his way back home and said there's a beautiful, large natural port where they have two rivers flow into the ocean, but it's arranged physically in such a way that you can sail the big ships in there and you don't have to worry about big ships crashing into rocks and other bad stuff. It's a perfect spot to set up shop, and they did. Nobody really discovered Manhattan, but Henry Hudson gets credit for it on this date in 1609. 82 years ago today, of course, the war had been going on for almost 2 years. We weren't in the war yet. And Charles Lindbergh, in a speech in Sioux City, Iowa, actually Des Moines, Iowa, one of his most infamous speeches says, FDR and the Jews and the British are trying to drag us in to World War II. It's a giant conspiracy. The presidency, Churchill, and the Jews all want us to fight against Nazi Germany. FDR was not pleased. As you might imagine, when he got word of it back at the White House later on that night before he went to bed, he told his valet, I want you to know that if I die tonight, I want everybody to know that I think Charles Lindbergh is a Nazi. Didn't do Lindbergh much any good either. Of course, everybody changed their mind on December 7th of 1941, but a couple of months before that, Charles Lindbergh said, we're getting dragged into a war we shouldn't have anything to do. That was on this date 82 years ago today, and I don't need to tell you about what happened on this date 22 years ago today. The final death toll, when it was all said and done, 2,996 people gone. Everything is still burned in my brain. I was working in radio. It was one of the longest days of our life, but we did good. People wanted as much information as they could as quick as they could, and I thought my colleagues in media did a wonderful thing. The one thing I can never figure it out, I've never been able to wrap my head around it. For the 3 planes that hit their target, the 2 planes that crashed into the World Trade Center and the plane that crashed into the Pentagon, those muscle hijackers took over those airlines as soon, within seconds after the captain, they got to cruising altitude and the captain turned off the seatbelt light so you could move about the cabin. The muscle hijackers took over those 3 airplanes almost immediately, inside of a minute. But United Airlines Flight 93, for reasons nobody knows, the captain turned off the seatbelt light, but they did not storm the cockpit and take over the airplane for another 46 minutes. Of course, by that time, the people on the airplane knew what was going on, and not far after that, the people in Shanksville, Pennsylvania found out what was going on. Why they waited a full 46 minutes to muscle the plane, nobody knows. But think about it. What if they had, in fact, stormed the cockpit immediately after the captain turned off the seatbelt like the other 3 planes did? They almost certainly would have hit their target, which was the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Birthdays. 2 of the most famous coaches of all time born on the same date, not the same day. Paul William Bear Bryant, of course, best known for winning 6 national championships at the University of Alabama. Retired after the 1982 season. They won the Liberty Bowl, And then he died of a heart attack 2 weeks later, just like he predicted. Paul Bear Bryant, born in the state in 1912, died in 1982. Tom Landry, Hank Hill's favorite football coach, born in the state 99 years ago today, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys for 29 years. And for a period in the 60s and 70s, the Dallas Cowboys, in a period of 17 years, played for 12 NFC championships. That is pretty impressive. Tom Landry, born in the state 99 years ago today. Special shout out to Eric Granstrom's daughter, Gracie. Happy birthday, Gracie. I forgot how old you are, but doesn't matter. I had to do the shout out. Happy birthday, Gracie. All right, it is 36 minutes after the hour. Coming up, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNulty, and then we're going to replay the interview I did with April Turner, who is executive director of the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center. Yeah, they have disputes out in the basin, too. She'll tell you about the good work that they do when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
This is Grace, and this is her world record-holding guinea pig with an iconic name, Abby.
She currently holds the Guinness World Record for the highest bar jump by a guinea pig. I ride horses and I jump, so I kind of thought it'd be interesting to teach my guinea pig to jump like my horse does.
One day she came out of her room and looked at us, and I said, "Did you get it?" And she said, "Yeah, we got it."
After we won our award, we came to Abby's to celebrate.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Hibis Public Market is on the move to make parking, dining, shopping, and events an even better experience for our community. Check out the progress that has already been made towards the revitalization. The Westside Project is well on its way, but we need your help to get over the finish line. All donations are greatly appreciated and can be made online at our website or in person at the business office. We want to thank those who have already partnered with us. You are helping make the place we love a better place for our community to meet.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNulty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently was talking to someone who let it be known that she was an anti-vaxxer. She rather smugly told me, "I have an immune system." What the heck does that mean? Yeah, you won't get a flu shot? If you, God forbid, catch cancer, you're going to depend on your immune system to get you better. And if you step on a rusty nail, you're going to eschew a tetanus shot because your immune system will keep you from getting lockjaw. Look, I get it. If you don't want to get a COVID vaccine, fine. That's up to you. And I sincerely hope if you do contract COVID, your immune system will work better than it has for many, many folks who have died from that virus. I have an immune system. What, like the rest of us don't? This is Mike Mad Dog McNulty, and that's my opinion.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. Local cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting localtel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
Hi, everybody. Dan Kuntz alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. My heat pump there's like steam coming out of it. It's making weird noises. Is this something I need to be concerned about?
No, Dan, that's normal operation. Refrigeration technology steals heat from the outside, transfers it to the inside, and it creates frost on your heat pump. The defrost cycle melts that off, which creates steam and a little bit of noise.
That makes sense. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Allergens. You can't see them, but they live in your carpet and your air ducts. Call the experts at Clean Air Connection for a clean, healthy living environment. Experience, education, and the right equipment equals the best cleaning job possible. Call Clean Air Connection today. Pet dander, allergens, dust, and pollen? Trust your home's carpet and duct cleaning to the experienced experts at Clean Connection. This locally owned family business educates their staff and uses only the best equipment. Call Clean Air Connection today.
Disputes, disagreements, arguments, it's all part of life. It's part of being an adult. You're going to have to deal with them on almost daily basis. Sometimes these disputes can escalate to a point where you throw up your hands and say, what am I going to do about it? And then you call in professionals. At least I would do anyway. And that's why we're out here in Ephrata to talk to April and the good crew, well, April anyway, who runs the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center here in beautiful downtown Ephrata. Hi.
Hello, Dan.
How you doing? Oh,
I'm doing great.
That's a very calming voice.
Well, thank you.
Do you have to use that a lot in your line of work,
yes.
I take it?
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I'm familiar with any number of dispute resolution center. The one in Wenatchee has been a great success story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A needed professional expertise in your line of work. How does one become a mediator to begin with and to do what you do? That's got to take some education.
It does take some education. It takes a lot of time. It's a big time commitment, and it's quite pricey. So a 40-hour basic mediation training is required, followed by a 20-hour family law training, and then 8 co-mediations. No, 8 observations, and then
so you sit in while another thing is going on?
Yes,
okay.
So you do 8 observations, and then you're filling out an observation sheet during those observations and talk about it during the debrief, the mediator debrief at the end of the mediation, to try to wrap up that kind of training. And then 12 co-mediations, where you're paired with an actual certified mediator 12 times before you're up for review.
So you just don't write a check and you're in?
No, absolutely not. There are a lot of things that each person trying to become a mediator has to get rid of. One of our employees was a former car salesman. Well, that type of energy and the offering of suggestions, those things have to go. Those are not appropriate in mediation.
Well, no, because you're not selling anything.
You're not selling anything. Yeah. Mediators are not going to offer suggestions. It's up to the clients to come up, to brainstorm and come up with what method forward is going to be doable and durable, and will keep both of you out of court, will keep relationships with yourself and your kids and other family members peaceful throughout the years. We don't have those answers.
No.
And we walk into a mediation and we don't care one way or the other what the parties choose. The clients that come to us are not paying us to take a side, to be partial one way or the other. We're just helping people have a tough conversation and reach agreements that, again, like I said, are doable and can be done long term.
At what point in your professional background did you go, hey, I think I might be good at this? And you just were people on their best behavior when you were around? How did that work?
No, I didn't even know anything about mediation when I took this job. It's just that the job was posted and I was the only one that said, hey, I'll give it a try.
And it turns out you're pretty good at it.
It's been a lot of trial and error. And yeah.
Is the number one skill set just listening? Just
listening is a big part of it, but it goes more beyond listening, because to be an active listener and an accurate listener, you need to be able to restate what the person has said. Okay, and that's a skill that we don't really use in our day-to-day lives. But you need to, when there's a calm in the conversation, you need to say, okay, so what I hear you saying is this, this, and this, and that you wish it would be this, this, and this going forward, but these are the challenges that you know.
How do people end up on your doorstep? How do people end up on your radar? I mean, when it gets to a point where we need to bring in a professional mediator, how do they know that you are even
That's
around?
been a challenge. It's been a challenge to get the word out. The courts, though, have helped us here in Grant County. Mediation is mandatory.
In what kind of cases? Like
in family law cases.
Okay.
And just the family law cases for right now. Mediation is mandatory. Parties come in with outstanding disputes. You know, there's still things that have not been hashed out. The courts send you to mediation before they will schedule a trial. So you've got to give mediation a chance. But many times, parties get to avoid court altogether, which is very, very good.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to go to court.
Yeah,
you know,
and it relieves the court.
Yeah.
So generally, we save the court about $300,000 a year.
Well, no wonder it's
court
mandatory.
Costs and fees.
Because that's not just court costs and fees that you're saving, it's taxpayer money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
everybody wins.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Well, let me add, well, you mentioned everybody wins. I know not everybody wins a mediation
Right,
in that respect.
right.
Give me a success story. Give me an idea. Give me a mediation. You can use John Doe and Jane Doe. I don't care. You don't want to use their real names anyway. But give me a recent success story where your professional services were brought in and everybody walked away at least with an agreement, if not necessarily happy. At least
Sure.
they were on the same page, which is
Sure.
90% of the battle. Give me a success story.
So we had parents come in who have separated and they have 4 kids. And they're pretty young. So the oldest was 8 and the youngest was 10 months old. And Dad was going to take a job in North Dakota, and there needed to be a parenting plan. The court required a parenting plan to settle a divorce. So we helped craft something that was going to work for them. It couldn't be a 50-50 just because of the geographical challenges. But parties came to a resolution. The kids would be with mom during the school year, and then Dad would have them every spring break and every summer until each kid turns 18 and gets to decide for themselves where they want to be. That was the best it could have come for them. And they left saying, we don't think we could have arrived at this agreement with all these particulars in place without you mediators.
Do you get a little release of endorphins when it all works?
Sure.
You know, you get like, hey, all right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Especially when clients say, wow, for one, I really wish I learned about this, learned you guys were here years ago. 2, how does one get involved with the DRC? Because this seems like a diamond in the rough. And a place that's calming, it's accessible, it's affordable. We're a nonprofit, so.
Give me the one you just gave me was a great story, and I think it's something that a lot of our viewers can relate to. Give me a private mediation, something that wasn't court ordered, that maybe turned out pretty good, maybe like a landlord-tenant or that kind of deal that the courts didn't send them your way because they had to. It was something else entirely. Give me an example of that worked.
So we had a case where the tenant was being asked to leave, and the landlord was wanting the tenant to pay $7,000 worth of back rent. Actually, it's not a big amount.
Okay, I guess not.
We've learned. People are much more in the hole than that. The problem was they were family. The tenant believed that when she paid rent, she was paying a house payment, and that she was She was renting to own.
Renting to own.
Okay, so the patriarch in the family, who had a verbal agreement with this tenant, which was his niece, said, you need to have your own place. You need to own your own place. You should not be renting. He wanted the best for her going into the future. He passed away, and her name did not make it into the family trust.
And there's no paperwork because it was a verbal agreement, right, in that respect?
It was a verbal agreement. There was no paperwork.
Nobody wrote anything down.
He wasn't, you know, he is no longer here to vouch for what he said, the promise he made to her. And they needed her out so that they could rent it out. But when they came in, yes, there's some money issues, but the tenant, they both agreed. They both agreed that whatever happens in this mediation, they wanted to preserve the relationship.
So there was that underlying foundation that you could build on.
Yep.
To get this problem solved,
Right.
and apparently it was solved.
Yep, it was solved.
And there are, I'm sure, there have been days, April, where it just doesn't gonna, you have to sit down with your clients, and one's in one room and one's in the other, and you gotta say, I can't help you. You guys are so far apart, and you're so emotionally unstable or upset about the current situation that we're wasting everybody's time. Sorry.
There are some mediations we have to call. We have to stop them because we've learned of an unreported abuse of a child, elder, or disabled person.
And you're required by law to do that.
Required by law to report those. Or there's been some criminal activity. Or someone makes an actual threat in mediation. And those things happen, mediation stops, and we have to.
Let's end on a positive note. Sorry, viewers. I'm kind of depressed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Let's end on a positive. You like your job? You like doing this?
I do. I'm very, very passionate about it.
Yeah. You got a good team?
I do.
Yeah. And you have a Spanish-speaking gentleman here, and that helps certainly.
He's fantastic. He is very professional. He went to school in Mexico, but he actually paid attention to the Spanish language, written and spoken word. He understands syntax. He understands.
There are different dialects and different portions
different dialects, but
yeah,
he has mastered the base level, the universal Spanish, so that he can navigate through any dialects and whatever that come along. And anything he writes is very professional, and it's correct. And that's been hard to find, actually.
One more question, then we'll cut you loose. Again, we're talking to April, the Executive Director of the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center. Do you get referrals from other dispute resolution centers? Hey, we tried, didn't work, give April a call. Maybe she can help you out. We tried. Or is that just, if it's not working, then it's not working? And
well, generally, the courts only require that parties give mediation a try once. Every once in a while, maybe twice a year or so, the courts will send clients back to us for a second session. As far as other DRCs making referrals to us, it doesn't happen very often. If the parties were married in a specific county, they need to go to that DRC. And then that DRC does things in a specific way that aligns with what their court requires them to do. So to have another DRC come in and step in and help clients craft repayment agreements or settlement agreements or even parents.
The bottom line is you're much better off seeing the professionals like April and her crew at the Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center than going to court. Whatever you do, give these guys a crack at it first, right?
Yeah, the most any client is going to pay is $300, but because we're a nonprofit, if you're comfortable providing your pay stub to us, we will run it against our sliding fee scale, and we often, like most times, we're quoting a mediation fee way below $300. And it's not $300 per hour, it's a one-time fee. And then if you need to come back for a second session, your fee is cut in half. It's half price of what you paid the first time. So I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and their mediation rooms are well stocked with water, snacks, and candy.
That's right.
Can't go wrong with that. It's
That's
nice
right.
meeting you, April.
It's nice meeting you too, Dan. Thank
Here's
you so
hoping
much.
you're busy, but not too busy. You know, that nice
Right.
little happy medium there, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, we're needing board members because we need more people. We need more people to go out in the community and be prepared to talk about who we are and what we do. And then I would be freed up to do
To do what you're supposed to be doing.
what I'm doing.
Columbia Basin Dispute Resolution Center used to be at Moses Lake. Now they're in Ephrata, downtown Ephrata. Give them a call. Say hi to April, and hopefully you don't need their services, but if you do, that's what they're here to do, right?
Yep.
I got a couple of coworkers that are driving me nuts. Can we
Bring them
even
on
work
over.
No, I just want to. I just want to vent. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe next time. Maybe next
We can do some conflict coaching, maybe.
Okay, that'll
Yeah,
work.
That'll work.
You do that?
We do that too.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
It's a big list.
Okay. Bring it on.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
Working with August Edge Real Estate, both sellers and buyers feel confident knowing they are in the hands of award-winning professionals. August Edge offers a 2% listing commission, which includes above-standard service and technology.
We offer high-tech 3D imagery, drone photos, local North Central Washington TV ads, and impressive smart flyer installed at your listing. The August Edge website also hosts your home with an interactive featured listing page.
August Edge is professional, personable, and preferable.
It's the pickleball event of the year. Shake and Bake by the Lake at Wapato Point Resort in Manson, October 6th through 8th. Open to the public for all ages and skill levels. Register now until September 15th. Go to moretomanson.com and click on the events link to register. Or go to pickleballbrackets.com. Book a stay and see all the amazing amenities Wapato Point Resort has to offer. Walk to Manson restaurants, wineries, and more. It's the Wapato Point Resort Shake and Bake by the Lake Pickleball Tournament, October 6th through 8th in Manson.
Elevate your savings at Boswell's. Right now, buy stressless recliners, sofas, and office chairs and earn up to $1,500 credit toward the purchase of additional stressless furniture. Or receive $400 off the purchase of any stressless signature base or cross-base recliner and ottoman. Don't wait. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
A very mild 68 degrees. We also understand there's some pockets of light drizzle in some of our viewing area. That's something that we need real bad. But before all of that happens, or after all that happens, we got a little change in the weather. It's not very much. There's a weak system coming in. It's going to kick up the winds just a little bit. We have this slide to show for you one more time for the National Weather Service. Most of the wind is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, about 10 a.m. to about noon, it's going to start picking up in intensity. Between 1 and about 5 for the Wenatchee Valley and the Waterville Plateau, it's going to be breezy with the occasional gust from 10 to 20 miles an hour. Then it changes from breezy to windy right around 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, goes through about 10 o'clock tomorrow night with gusts about 30 to 35 miles an hour. And some of that's going to spill into Wednesday, and then we're in for a significant warming trend. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Lots of clouds, high of 82. Not much wind today, but enough to mention it's going to be a little breezy. The real wind is going to be Tuesday afternoon, as you already saw, with a high of 81. Winds will be dying down as we go through the day on Wednesday. Lots of sunshine with a high of 81. Our normal high this time of the year is 78. We're going to be above that, and then we're going to be well above that starting Thursday, and it's going to feel like summer because it still is by the time we get to the weekend. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Live It Up, the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life that feels good, because after all, that's what we want. We just want to feel good. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson. Today on the show, we're going to be visiting with Audie McClellan of Chelan, Washington. I invited Audie on the show because last year, she made a powerful decision to challenge herself mentally, spiritually, and physically. She signed up